Ladies and gentlemen, God bless President Trump and God bless Melania Trump. I want to read you this. Politico. Rain, hail, lawsuits, and the pandemic crisis failed to halt Wisconsin election. All the Democrats who are saying, and all the media pundits, many of whom tested positive themselves, but all of the people who said, oh, Trump, he downplayed everything. Well, Democrats forced a primary, numerous ones, during the pandemic. One in Wisconsin where there was actual hail voters were pelted by hail during the pandemic. And then they categorized it as, well, they had to choose between their health and their civic duty. No, they didn't. You could have canceled the primary. Oh, but there were elections for judges, and you couldn't do that. So politics first, safety second. Don't say, I told you so, if you're on the left. How many people got sick or were harmed by waiting in long lines in the rain in Wisconsin? Wisconsin primary recap, New York Times. Voters forced to choose between their health and their civic duty. There's no civic duty to voting in the Democratic primary. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, it wasn't her civic duty to resign in disgrace in 2016. It wasn't the civic duty of all Americans to blame Russia after the DNC emails and campaign emails showed that Democrats cheated Bernie Sanders. And they cheated Bernie Sanders also in Iowa in 2020. But don't tell me after the wonderful Nancy Pelosi takes off her protective her mask in a hair salon, which, by the way, at that point was not legal to even be in one. Don't tell me that this is an I told you so moment. And in addition to that, it wasn't just Wisconsin where there was, people were in the rain in Wisconsin waiting to vote in a primary. It wasn't a presidential, it was a primary. It was Illinois, Florida, and Arizona. They had four primaries that they didn't cancel during the pandemic because they had to kick Bernie Sanders to the curb. Politics is always first, safety, a distant second for Democrats. Be here, by the way, 9 p.m. Pacific this evening and every evening. We have the best late evening live stream in all of YouTube. I have a really, really wonderful segment also on H.A. Goodman's other channel regarding this. And if you want to support my voice long term, ladies and gentlemen, you help me and allow me to do what I do. I am a completely independent creator. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people who want to get money out of politics. So my Patreon is below. Your support is greatly appreciated. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific this evening and every evening on this channel, H.A. Goodman. On H.A. Goodman's other channel, I'll start doing live streams as well. So be here 9 p.m. Pacific tonight for the best late evening live stream. We approach 1,000 to 2,000 viewers every night. So that's number one. So President Trump tested positive. Melania tested positive. God bless them. Number two, aside from the absolute hypocrisy of Democrats who had Wisconsin, Illinois, Arizona, and Florida primaries during the pandemic, before the curve was flattened, many of those primaries, or a number of them, people were not mandated to wear protective coverings. Okay. That's another issue. The manner in which Democrats have reacted, this is, before we get to that despicable manner in which Democrats have reacted, you look at Real Clear Politics now. First of all, the whole thing, President Trump's going 8 years. Biden has no chance to win, like zero chance. This will be the second election that I call. I called 2016 in 2015. NPR quoted me. They quoted me and 538 in the same paragraph. 538 said Trump wouldn't even be GOP nominee. My writing in the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, I warned everyone on the left endlessly that Clinton would lose to Trump. NPR quoted me. I said Clinton is unelectable and she would lose to Trump. I was right. I called it in 2015. I'm telling you right now, there's no way they're going with Biden. But if they go with Biden, the H.A. Goodman prophecy, it's joking, obviously, but is the biggest call is that President Trump goes 8 years. He'll go 8 years. There is so much support for Trump that 800 out of 1,000 Democrats polled can't tell you. These polls are so skewed. They're such public relations polls. It's unbelievable. But President Trump is doing better than Biden in swing states. He's doing worse than Clinton among African American, Black, Latino, and Hispanic support. So you tell me how. And then just about a couple weeks back, the Latino Outreach, or DNC, Hispanic and Latino Voter Outreach, wrote a letter saying that Biden is trying to suppress the vote within the Democratic Party in Florida. How on earth is this man even going to get close enough so Democrats can cheat when they say, well, we'll just have all the 20, we'll have mail-in ballots and absentee ballots save us? How are they going to even get close enough in swing states? There's zero enthusiasm for Biden. Zero. It's all, Trump is bad and horrible. Did Trump get us into never-ending counterinsurgency wars and conflict like Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld and the Lincoln Project? No, he's reversed U.S. foreign policy, the most important issue we face as a country and as a world. He's ended the war in Afghanistan. He's removing soldiers, Americans, from Iraq. He ended a covert operation to oust Assad. He has presided over monumental peace deals between Israel, UAE, and Bahrain, Serbia, Kosovo. First president to step foot in North Korea and begin détente between North and South Korea, a real détente between North and South Korea. We never thought this was possible as a country. And so, first president ever to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses, and the definition of that word is from the IHRA. So if you have a problem with the definition of that word from the IHRA, then say so. And then also don't forget to say how you're fighting the 1930s and 1940s Germans. The definition that the government is using now, that the United States is using now because of President Trump, is from the IHRA. Look up the executive order. And then you have first president ever to make $255 million funding permanent for historically black colleges and universities. Permanent. Did President Obama make it permanent? No. Did Bush? Did any? No. So don't tell me about a supremacist and yeah. President Trump has also signed prison reform legislation. President Trump is actually presiding over prison reform legislation, whereas despots would usher a movement of mass incarceration, or an era of mass incarceration, like Biden with a 100. He was part of a sentencing disparity. He helped foster the 100-to-1 sentencing disparity. So 100 very likely people of color to one person that looks just like Biden for the same narcotic in the 90s and early 2000s. 100-to-1 sentencing disparity that the First Step Act addresses. 100-to-1 sentencing disparity. You want to talk about supremacy? I'm supposed to listen to the pontificating and the preaching about racism when you're voting for Biden, who has a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity that the ratio is 100-to-1. That's how badly it hurt people of color. Biden's sentencing disparities. So when President Trump wins and Democrats say it's a win for the racists, yeah, they're the ones who fostered a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity, mass incarceration, super predator comments. The comment like, "Oh yeah, you ain't," the "you ain't" comment. The Democrats get away with everything because of image. They're the ones who presided over the destruction of Libya. Did Trump destroy Libya? No, that was Biden, Clinton, and President Obama who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Do you think the people being bought and sold right now in Libya believe that Trump should have, that Obama should have won the Nobel Peace Prize? I don't think so. Everyone on the left's talking about structural issues. Well, who do you think created those structural issues, genius? Yeah, the same Democrats you think are going to fix the structural issues that they created. Then you want to talk about the pandemic? New York and New Jersey lead the entire world. God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. Only the best people. And God bless, I've only known the most amazing people in New York and New Jersey. I have family in New York. But New York and New Jersey lead the entire world in per capita cases and in aggregate totals of lives lost. The most lives lost have been in New York. The most lives lost have been in about 9 to 10. Over half of all the lives lost in this country, over half, we have 50 states, are in about 10 blue states. The highest unemployment rates are in Democratic-run states: Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, California. These are Democratic-run states. The highest unemployment rates, the most lives lost from the pandemic. And you want to talk about property damage? $1.4 billion. It wasn't from the nefarious people that Trump speaks to. It was actually primarily from people with left-leaning ideologies. And if you don't believe me, go see all the wonderful people in Portland and Seattle and Minneapolis that Operation Legend has charged with federal crimes, arson, all of these things. Who do you think set police buildings in Minneapolis, Seattle, and Portland ablaze? Gee, do you think that MSNBC or CNN are looking at the political leanings and ideologies of the people who set police buildings in flames? No, they're not. And then you want to talk about duplicity. It's like, God bless Trump, God bless President Trump, God bless Melania Trump and their family. Oh my God, when Madam Secretary had that health scare in September of 2016, if you said anything, you were related to Satan. You were the spawn of the devil. Oh my God. They want to uphold this reverence, this respect, and look what they did when President Trump's brother passed away. They said hashtag wrong Trump. They're very open in how they feel. The despicable. They want like the Democrats. They're very open. They're very open. Okay, I don't want physical harm for anyone. I'll say I told you so, and I will be very happy when a political side loses, and they will, just like in 2016. There's no enthusiasm for Biden. The same intelligentsia that said Clinton would win Texas are now saying, "Oh, Biden landslide." For landslide, he's never won a primary up until South Carolina, and he wasn't even popular enough within the Democratic Party to win Iowa or Nevada or New Hampshire. So Professor Helmut Norpoth's model is 100% accurate. And I've been telling you that Trump's going 8 years. So he's going to go 8 years. Vote early and make it happen, and they won't be able to cheat in the end like they did with Bernie Sanders. But here, you have a situation where these Democrats think that, victory is around the corner. They're going to be so utterly... It's going to be a catastrophe in their minds, it's going to be the biggest political slaughter of all time. Just like the first debate was, which I told you it would be. But The way that they've treated President Trump, they're telling you they want physical harm for him. They're not only saying, "Oh, I told you so," and he downplayed he didn't downplay anything. Late January, he issued travel restrictions that were opposed by Biden. Yes, they were opposed by Biden. When Biden said they were xenophobic, that's a statement in opposition. And then the fact checkers, of course, well, he didn't really oppose the travel restrictions. He just said that they were xenophobic and horrible, and only despots would engage in them. I mean, it's like they give the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they twist themselves into pretzels for giving the benefit of the doubt. Like, for example, when left-leaning organizations make the most horrible statements, yell chants about pigs and blankets and all these horrible things. Left-leaning organizations, and then police officers and law enforcement lose their lives or are targeted. They say, "Well, you can't put two and two together. You can't make that link because, well, that wasn't really part of the national organization." Then they say, "Well, there is no national organization. There's no hierarchy." But Trump, he caused that fateful day in Virginia. Even though he was signing a health care bill for veterans. And he condemned, he never said both sides. That was a lie. And then within that statement, he said, and I'm not talking about the 1930s and 1940s Germans. All they have is lies about Trump, whether it's both sides or Trump worked with Russia. But getting back to the Atlantic article that is gossip and hearsay, no evidence. But all they have is this vitriol and venom where they're absolutely happy. They think that he's going to pass away now. He's not going to pass away. He's going to be fine. He's going to survive. Like the vast, what percentage of people survive from the pandemic, thank God? What percentage of people survive? Notice how you've never heard that number from Democrats. Gee, I wonder why. But he works. Not like Biden, who puts a lid on his campaign. The only reason he didn't today was because of the news. But about 10 or 11 out of the past 30 days, he's been stuck in his basement like Punxsutawney Phil. He leaves the basement and he sees his shadow. He jumps back in. But the vile, disgusting, nefarious, insidious, statements and words. For what? Did he get us into Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld's wars? For what? Did he destroy Libya? For what? Did he drink Flint water like President Obama, who's a great personality? I'll take Trump's personality over President Obama's personality any day of the week. I'll definitely take Trump's personality over Bush's personality. And then President Obama, I'm thirsty. I'd like some water in Flint. And then you have celebrities. Gee, it was too bad that he did that. Yeah, Democrats get away with everything. And they put Trump under a microscope. He lied. He lied 40,000 times. Well, you could double that for President Obama and Bush and Clinton, each of them. Put every one of President Obama's statements under a microscope like the Washington Post did. Don't give him any leeway for hyperbole. And dissect actual sentences within, truthful first part and not truthful second part. You'll get the same amount of lies. Even worse. Because President Obama didn't destroy a country in Libya. I mean, President Trump didn't. President Obama did. The real chaos and destruction and the most damage comes from Democrats, but media covers it up. And then you have liberals who are so apoplectic and hysterical and seething that they think that Trump embodies the 1930s and 1940s Germans. And I'm telling you, as a Jewish American who cares about Israel, he's the best president the Jewish people have ever had. But see, the thing is, now you have, there are people who are liberal first, Democrat first, then their religion or culture. If you're liberal and Democrat first, you'll accept anything from Biden or Democrats. And then it's okay, well, you know what? And then you hide behind the suffering of people. Democrats hide behind the suffering of people. There's a reason that religious Jewish people and Israelis love President Trump. Because he's the antithesis of the 1930s and 1940s Germans. You want to talk about boycotting ethnicities and boycotting the one state on the planet? That's the Democratic Party. So don't make you want to make correlations between the 1930s and 1940s Germans? The Democrats correlate directly to that if you want to make those correlations. With the things they've said, the things they tried to do. That's a whole other story. President Trump is an amazing president. Best president of my lifetime. Why don't you go ask the people of Libya or other countries what they think of President Obama or Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. And then you see this nonsense. Our allies. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. NATO is an organization composed of countries, well, the most powerful countries in NATO are also within the UN Security Council, and an intervention, whether it's Libya or any other intervention, that fails in the most catastrophic manner, well, it's just everyone was on board. So you can't really blame a country. That's how Democrats get away from accepting blame, and that's how the most powerful countries within these multilateral organizations get away from accepting blame. It's just a way to say, well, we were all on the same page. Gosh, it didn't work out. And Trump is like, nah, I'm not going to play that game. You're going to actually pay more money. We defend you. You rely on our defense, so you don't have to spend as much money as we do. We spend 10 times what the major countries in the world, 10 or 12 times what they spend in terms of the military. And so Trump's saying, yeah, you know what, you're gonna pay a little bit more. Oh my God, this is what Putin wants. And then it's, oh my God, the Facebook ads. You notice the Democrats have zero discussion of foreign policy. In fact, there's a Vice article that I always read. The Bernie Bros guide, this was in 2016, guide to voting Clinton. It ends with, will Hillary Clinton engage in a failed regime change? Absolutely. But will she help raise the minimum wage faster than you could say? Goldman Sachs. This is the mentality. Minimum wage, regime change. It's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, sure, fine, minimum wage, fine. You're going to compare that to an intervention? And then the left is like, well, if arms deals and interventions are the same things. No, they're not. Well, the budget, Trump increased the budget, so he reversed U.S. foreign policy. How do you equate these things? This is why the left is so dysfunctional. They can never just take the L in terms of their in terms of their ideology. Like, oh wow, Trump is a million times better than our side on this issue. They can never just accept the loss or accept that Trump did something amazing, because they don't care about interventions. They don't care about sending Americans off and leaving them in counterinsurgency conflicts forever. They don't care. They don't care. I do care. That's why I'm voting for President Trump. God bless President Trump and Melania. They're so outward and honest in what they want. They want physical harm for President Trump. But guess what? Your political side will suffer infinitely more. The karma, the negative karma, the negative vibrations, when you want someone else to suffer, it comes back to you. Your political side. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about your political side. Remember when they were, H.A. Goodman, the indictment didn't happen. But there was a risk of indictment for a reason, because there were criminal acts taking place. So you're happy now, but you're not going to be happy November 3rd or November 8th in 2016. It came back. The treachery always, it's like they can, it's like a boomerang. Democrats deal with their criminality like a boomerang. They just throw it around and it comes right back and hits them in the forehead. So they're so happy, like, oh, yay, no indictment. And, well, it was a cover-up. And so anyway, Comey wrote that letter a week before. So you live by the Comey, your demise will be by the Comey also. So, rejoice, Democrats, you insidious, pathetic imbeciles. I mean, that's what you're doing now. If you're so like low class and sad and pathetic, and then these are the same people who are like, oh, Trump, he's a bully. You couldn't find bigger bullies than on the left. Trust me, I was on the left. If you're even a Bernie supporter, they go after you with hit pieces. Okay, the Daily Beast wrote a hit piece on me when I was firmly on the far left. Okay? On the left. So, and Ross Story and all this, they police their side far more. They're worried the left bullies their own side before they even look at Republicans or Trump. Then the hyperbole regarding Trump is like they've focused and obsessed their lives around disliking him. That's not healthy, because when he wins again, you're going to have a mass exodus / the Democratic Party will dissolve into chaotic infighting. There's infighting every single day. They think they're going to win the election. They have zero. Okay, I got heat for the midterms. They didn't. If that was a blue wave, why didn't they take back the Senate? President Trump has, and I said they would gain in the Senate. I said they would gain in the Senate, and they did. And then people said, well, that wasn't a big call. Really? 3 Supreme Court justices now. 3. Because Democrats did not take back the Senate. That was the most important win. And so we have Amy Coney Barrett, 3 Supreme Court justices. President Trump's going 8 years. So tell me what happens to the left. They are completely done. The Democratic Party after November 3rd, because they're they worship the polls. You want to know what the RCP average was in the middle of October? It was Clinton up by, let's see, by around 7 points in the middle of October. Biden's up by 6.8. And if you look it's not the middle of October, and it's obviously the polls are a bunch of nonsense anyway. But you look at these, it's the same type of polls. Biden's doing worse nationally. He's definitely doing worse in swing states. That's without a doubt. Okay, without a doubt. Clinton just a week ago was doing better in swing states. She has more support among Black and Latino voters, which is why eventually they're going to do the switcheroo. But latest poll here, International Business or IBD, Biden up 3, CNBC, Biden up 13. So how do you have 2 scientific polls with one is Biden within the margin of victory, and then one is Biden up 13? Are you kidding me? These polls are not scientific. If these polls were based on science, we'd all be floating because there would be no laws of physics. How do you have a poll that says Biden is up 13 and then Biden is within the margin of error and he could lose? Within the same day. Okay? Because they're propping it's weekend at Biden's every day. They have no chance with Biden. Like, zero chance. If they're so inept and incompetent they actually roll with Biden on November 3rd, it's fine. It's Christmas come early, Hanukkah come early. It's fantastic. They don't even get close enough to cheat in the end. Because swing state voters everyone's gonna vote on the economy. And President Trump does better on the economy than Biden. Also, Biden doesn't have the support President Trump does in terms of enthusiasm. Also, President Trump's doing better among Latino and Hispanic voters and African American and Black voters. The only chance they have is Clinton. I'm telling you the switcheroo is going to take place. But if it doesn't, which I cannot see it not happening, but if it doesn't, they're going to lose. And then check it out. You're talking about a generation of Democrats, because they don't have, who do they have for 2024? I mean, Republicans don't have anybody either, but Democrats certainly don't. And if it's anyone who adopts President Trump's philosophy on things, that person will defeat any Democrat. Well, that's not true exactly. 2024, they have a chance. 2020, it's President Trump going 8 years. I will have called this election 2 elections in a row. People, be here at 9 p.m. Pacific. God bless President Trump. You want to go after Trump? Your political party will the retribution is going to be in about a month. So you enjoy yourself now in the insidious, nefarious, disgusting little manner that you enjoy on Twitter. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, of course, I don't have a Twitter account, but all those leftists and all those Democrats who are on Twitter disparaging Trump, you think your messages, you think any of your retweets, you think any of your existence on Twitter, your cyber existence, will be remembered a year, 2 years, 10 years from now? It'll be less relevant than a MySpace post written 20 years ago, or 15 or 10 years ago, or whatever. It'll be less relevant than a MySpace post. So just enjoy yourself on Twitter, because that'll be one of the reasons for the demise of the entire Democratic Party. Give me your thoughts below. God bless President Trump. God bless Melania Trump and their family, and God bless you. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific this evening on this channel, the best political live stream, late evening live stream in all of YouTube. Thank you, and subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. My Patreon is below if you want to support my work. Thank you.